So hello YouTube family and friends, Rev Up Mustang Fanatic Productions, Mechanic Edition. We haven't made a video in a while in our Mechanic Edition because of our hip, having a torn labral. Medicine is working pretty decent, but I have some pretty horrible days. But anyway, this is a topside job that I was doing for a good friend of mine, and she had a complaint that it's a 99 Ford Focus, the 2.0 liter split port induction, and she says when she comes to a stop at a light, the engine wants to surge like it wants to cut off. There's no codes, so I always run my scan tool over it, and my scan tool pulled up a P0401, which is a blocked EGR port. But anyway, since she hadn't had plugs and wires and the fuel filter, she don't know, God knows when she had that done. So we put plugs and wires on it, and we did the fuel filter, and the PVC hose was a joke. I don't know who did that, but let me show you what was on here. Somebody had put, this is a garden hose, folks. They had this garden hose running from the positive crankcase ventilation up to the cold side, the EGR port up here, and that's no good. It was leaking all over the place down the bottom, and air gets in that, it'll make the engine stumble, and if that hose comes off, the engine will shut off. So I went and got the proper EGR, or should I say the proper PVC hose for it, and I put that on. What a joke. A garden hose. I've seen things in my days, but I've never seen that. And this hose right here is only like a 99 cents a foot. I got about 2 foot of hose, cost $2 and change. Big deal. Makes the car runs a whole lot better. But anyway, you can see the new plugs right here, and the wires. I mean, you can see the new spark plug wires, and I put the new plugs in. And the fuel filter is that shiny thing right there, right in between there, that nice shiny thing down there. But anyway, this is the EGR valve right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take off the intake, I'm going to take off the throttle body, and we're going to look inside. I guarantee you it's 30, and we're going to take the 2 bolts off this EGR valve, and we're going to clean those ports out. And it's running good now, it's not skipping or anything, but I'm quite sure that in the near future she will still have that problem, so I don't want her to have that problem, so we're going to knock that out. So we got 2 8mm bolts to take those off, and I believe it's 10mm bolts or 13 for the EGR valve in the back. Let me see what that is. It's a 10mm. It fit. It just dropped though. But that's what we're going to do. These are 8mm bolts. We're going to take this loose, and we're going to take this loose. We're going to take this loose. We're going to leave that wire connection on here, and we're just going to flip this right out of the way. Okay, just as I suspected, if you look inside there, you can see that it is real nasty inside there. The hole for the EGR valve is completely clogged, so we're going to have to pull the EGR apart. We're going to have to spray some gasket or brake clean in there, or throttle clean, and get all that gook out of here, and she'll run much better. She'll breathe a lot easier. And this is for all you Ford owners too, your Ford Rangers, your 4.6 liter Mustangs, LTDs, any Ford that has a throttle body, that has an EGR valve, when you come to a stop and it's surging and it feel like it wants to cut off, it feel like it's missing, your EGR valve is clogged. Now I'm going to show you in the hole that there was supposed to be a hole in the back of the throttle body housing where the manifold is. I got to. So let's see if I can get the camera inside there with some light. Okay, see in the back there. Not a very good shot. I can't tell if you can see it, but there's a screwdriver poking through that hole. But there is a hole there. Let's go through the back. See? You can see light. That's where the hole is. That's that little part where it's inside the EGR where it gets clogged up. That comes up from the hot side. So that's what you need to unclog. You need to clear all that stuff out. And that's the EGR right there. And you can see I cleaned that out. Sorry for the noise, it's a compressor in the background. But I sprayed it in there. You can see the needle in there now, nice and clean. And I sprayed in here with all garbage. So I'm gonna put a vacuum pump to it and I'm gonna watch and see that the vacuum gauge, the diaphragm goes up and that it maintains air. So I just sprayed brake cleaner on the back side of the throttle body and you can see all the dirt dripping, and I sprayed it on the front side of the throttle body to get it clean. And you can see I got the EGR back on. The only thing I got to do is get this back on here and we'll be good to go. And we begin to put this back together and we'll get it started. And this EGR valve bolt was 1.16 inches to take out. And yeah, it's a little pain in the butt to do, but we got it done. Let me show you how I clean the throttle body out. I got the key to the on position and I got a little pole holding the accelerator pedal open. That way it opens the throttle up. It doesn't disturb anything. And I spray WD-40 in there and I clean all the gunk from around the butterfly opening. And this is the results of it. That is a lot of dirt that come off of that throttle body. So this is going to run a lot cleaner. Hey YouTube family, friends, rev it up, Mustang fanatic, mechanic edition. We're going to give you an update on the 99 Ford Escort SE 2.0 split port engine here. You remember I changed the plugs and wires on it, and I also changed the fuel filter, and it was running, but it was still kind of sluggish. When you come to a stop, it would kind of vibrate real hard and the engine would surge and want to shut off. So as always, like I do, I ran my scan tool on it and it picked up. There's no check engine light, was never on, but my scan code picked up a that's the Alltel 808 scan tool, picked up P0401, which is a clogged EGR port. So you saw I took the throttle body apart and I took the EG valve off, and it was filled with carbon. The needle inside the EGR valve was so coated you couldn't even see it. It was so black. So I used some good carb cleaner and I really cleaned the throttle body out. I cleaned the throttle body housing on the inside of the manifold where the little hole is that you saw where I shined the light through. I cleaned that out pretty good. And when I put things back together, the car would run and it would die. So I always go back to the first problem, and the first problem was the clogged port on the EGR valve. So the diaphragm on the ports on the EGR valve was bad. So what we did up a new EGR valve, and this goes for all Fords. Like I said, whether it's a Ford Ranger, whether it's a 4.6 liter V8 modular Mustang engine, LTD, any Fords, the diaphragm is down in there, and there's the little needle that's inside there. Let's see outside here. I don't know if you can see that as well. But there's a little needle in there, still pretty dirty, and under here is still pretty dirty. But the diaphragm is, you see those little orange things right in there, and you can put air to it, vacuum, and you're supposed to hear it click, and it's supposed to hold pressure. Well, this wasn't holding pressure, so the diaphragm was no good, so the car would end up stalling. So I went and bought a new EGR valve and put that on, and the EGR valve solved the problem. So that is it with the 99 Ford Escort, but that should help all you guys out there with Fords that have a clogged EGR port, which would be a P0401 code, clogged EGR port. And if your port is clogged, your throttle body is going to be clogged, the hole that goes to the EGR port. And you would want to clean the throttle body also. And the way I do clean the throttle body, I turn the key to the on position, and I put a stick or a pedal between the accelerator pedal and the seat to hold the throttle body open, and I spray cleaner on a rag, and I wipe all the goop and soot off the around where the butterfly valve is on the throttle body, and we get all that junk and gook off of it so it doesn't stick, and we do a good thorough job of cleaning that. But remember, that's what I always go back to, the first thing that causes the source of the problem, which was the P0401. And if cleaning the EGR valve does not work, then you test the diaphragm, and that would be your most logical problem. And so you go ahead and buy a new EGR valve, and that settles the problem. The Escort right there, whenever a car is facing the street, it is ready for my friend or customer or friend, you can say, to pick the car up. So when it's facing the garage, it's being worked on. When it's facing the street, it's all said and done. So that is it. I hope you guys like and subscribe. God bless and have a good one.